Business School is committed to empowering the next generation of leaders with the skills they need to thrive. We present you our special computer training exclusively designed for SS3 and GSS3 graduates. Our comprehensive program covers a wide range of topics, including Microsoft Word, master the art of document creation and editing, unlock the power of data analysis and visualization, Microsoft Access, learn to manage and analyze database, Microsoft PowerPoint, create stunning presentations that captivate audiences, graphic design using CorelDRAW, unleash your creativity and design skills, Photoshop, enhance your image editing skills and create stunning visuals, programming using web design, build dynamic websites and web applications, database development, learn to design and manage databases, UI/UX design is to furthers. Turabo Business School, creating world-class entrepreneurs and professionals. Join us today and unlock your full potential. Turabo Business School, opposite Civil Service Commission,
Good evening. You're welcome to news at 9 p.m. on Psalm TV, the pulse of the nation. Emotion, this is where every headline matters. Stay engaged. Follow us on Facebook at Psalm TV and stream live on YouTube at Psalm TV Live. This is where stories breathe. On the news tonight, Tinubu arrived Brazil for BRICS summit to address Nigerian economic reform. Nigerian fighting for Russia captured by Ukrainian forces. Federal government opens dialogue on Nnamdi Kanu's release. Says not for political bargain. On international news, United States and China trade tension intensify as exporters race to beat tariff deadline, while flash floods in Texas kill 24 with over 20 girls missing at summer camp. Business news. Nigerian exchange gain of 13.2 trillion naira as all share index hits over 119,000 in H1 2025. Entertainment news. Angelique Kidjo becomes first African artist to receive Hollywood Walk of Fame star. Sport news. Victor Osimhen tops list of Nigerians' most expensive football transfers. I'm Bridget James, and now the news info. President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, to attend the 17th BRICS summit from July 6th to 7th. Welcomed by Brazilian officials at Galeão Air Force Base, Tinubu will participate in a plenary sessions and deliver an address on Nigerian economic reform. Invited by President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, he is also expected to engage in bilateral talk and meet with investors in sectors including agriculture, healthcare, and energy. The summit themed strengthening global South cooperation for more inclusive and sustainable governance. It will focus on health, AI, climate change, and global governance. Governors from Benue, Ogun, Lagos, Delta, and Niger State are accompanying the president. Ukrainian forces have captured Kehinde Oluwagbemileke, a 29-year-old Nigerian fighting for Russia in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. He was apprehended by the Freedom of Russia Legion, a pro-Ukraine unit in a Zaporizhzhia region after 5 months of combat. Oluwagbemileke, who had lived in Russia for 4 years, joined the Russian military to reduce a drug-related prison sentence under Article 228 of Russia Criminal Code. He revealed during interrogation that he served as a translator for non-Russian fighters and was among a group of African mercenaries recruited by Russia. He expressed regret and gratitude to his captors for medical assistance and sparing his life. The federal government has expressed willingness to negotiate the release of detained IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, but insists it should not be made a condition for political support. Minister of Works, Senator Dave Umahi, stated this in Lagos, clarifying that President Tinubu was not responsible for Kanu's detention and that any release would be based on dialogue and divine grace, not political pressure. Umahi praised Tinubu's leadership, citing progress on federal infrastructure projects and growing international confidence. He dismissed claims of marginalization in the southeast and affirmed regional support for Tinubu's re-election in 2027, while denying any personal presidential ambition. In a related development, Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, said the federal government has reduced the cost of rehabilitating the fire-damaged Ido Bridge in Lagos from 27 billion naira to 17 billion naira after negotiation with contractors Julius Berger. Dave Umahi disclosed this during a seat inspection, attributing to the reversed cost to improve cooperation from the company's new leadership. Umahi said the bridge suffered major damage due to years of neglect, illegal settlements beneath it, and repeated collisions by truck. He confirmed the project has been upgraded from partial to full rehabilitation and warned that no one will be allowed to reside under the bridge again, stressing the government's zero tolerance for infrastructure abuse. The Nigerian Labour Congress has vowed to resist any attempt by the National Assembly to move labour matters, including the minimum wage, from the exclusive to the concurrent legislative list. NLC President Joe Ajaero, speaking in Abeokuta, warned that allowing states to set their own wages will violate international labour standards and undermine workers' welfare. He accused lawmakers of trying to dismantle the national wage structure and threaten nationwide protests if the plan proceeds. Ajaero reaffirmed support for the 70,000 naira national minimum wage, noting that they are free to pay more but not less. He also called for full enforcement of local government autonomy through the Supreme Court. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oloyede, has urged Nigerian Army commanders to prioritize the welfare of troops and mission success over personal interest. Speaking at the 2025 Nigerian Army Day celebration lecture at the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna, Oloyede stressed the importance of soldier-centric leadership as central to the Army transformation. He outlined new measures, including improved training, accommodation, healthcare, and merit-based promotion to institutionalize the soldiers' first concept. He also directed updates to military circular to reflect modern operational needs, reaffirming the Army's commitment to professionalism, discipline, and selfless service. National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu has stated that the Tinubu administration is making significant progress in addressing the security crisis inherited in 2023. Speaking at the Nigerian Defense Academy 18 regular courses 50th anniversary in Abuja, Ribadu highlighted ongoing efforts to combat insurgency, banditry, sub-terrorist violence, oil theft, and communal clashes. He said over 13,500 terrorists have been neutralized and 124,000 insurgents and families have surrendered, and key terrorists have been reclaimed. In the Niger Delta, oil production has risen to 1.8 million barrels per day, with over 1,900 illegal refineries dismantled. Ribadu also noted improved security in the southeast, a major arrest of separatist leaders, and advancement in cyber defense and financial intelligence to disrupt terrorism funding. The National Kwararafa Ethics Summit 2025, held from the 3rd to the 4th of July at Nikon Luxury in Abuja, brought together ethic group from 27 states across Nigeria and Ghana under the theme Reawakening the Spirit of Kwararafa for Social Economy, Heritage, and Values in National Development. The summit echoed with the rich cultural pulse of Kwararafa people, featuring soul-stirring dances, vibrant traditional attire, engaging exhibitions, and thought-provoking conversations, with displays spanning art, fashion, music, craft, and culture, and strong focus on youth empowerment and peace building. The event served as a powerful forum to reconnect with ancestral roots while inspiring pathways for future national development.
We will build on this for a better Kwararafa. Kwararafa is a conglomeration of tribes, different tribes, coming together as a group in the 15th, 16th century. They were once a very powerful kingdom in history, but with time, a lot of things have gone wrong.
If you agree with me and look critically at the African Union's Agenda 2063 framework, with a specific emphasis on the aspiration number 5, which actually talk about Africa with a strong cultural identity, common heritage, values, and ethics. For some of us over the years, it is our aspiration to make sure that that aspiration is be fully implemented, particularly in Nigeria and other African countries. I think it's on this note that we have to make sure to see how we can reawaken generally about the culture across the continent, and we see the Kwararafa culture to start with.
This way of moving forward more and more with efficiency and effectiveness is for the country to create roles for the traditional rulers. It is very, very, I'm stressing this point.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, speaking in Hausa language, vowed to resist election rigging and bad governance, declaring that enough is enough. He made the remark while receiving a delegation of Gombe stakeholders led by former Minister Idris Abdullahi. In a follow-up post on his official X handle, Atiku emphasized the commitment of the opposition coalition under the ADC to deliver real change and responsible leadership in Nigeria. He welcomed the Gombe Group decision to join the ADC and recalled his support for Danjuma Goje's successful 2003 bid for governor.
Sabuwar tafiya ita za mu yi don mu karya lagon zalunci. 'yan ƙasa ku shigo ta mahar haɗa kai mu tashi mu kwato
resolving ga jam'iyyar da za ɗauko kuma ka ɗauko ta jam'iyyar ADC alhamdulillahi an ja yin unveiling dukan kunnan ko kuma da yawa daga cikin kunnan mun sha zama da ku tarurruka iri-iri saboda mu ƙara ƙarfafa juna akan wannan tafiya manufar wazirin Adamawa. Your Excellency, duk wanda kuke gani a nan kowannensu result ɗinsa shine jam'iyyar waziri ita ce jam'iyyarsa kowaye da kake gani a nan. Yau idan waziri ya ce ya juya daga ADC ya shiga wata dukkan mun nan za ka zama ɗunguma mun bi ka saboda haka kai ne alƙiblar mu. Don haka muka zo domin mu jaddada maka wannan ka sani Gombe gidanka ne, Gombe garinka ne. Ranka ya daɗe Adamawa ce dai ta haifo ka, amma Gombe yadda Gombe take alfahari da kai, da kuma take gadara da kai, da kuma take jin a duk kulliyomin duk abin da ya taso wanda ya shafi Gombe. Idan aka ce ga wazirin Adamawa kuma zai magance abin, to ba mu da wani haufi a kai. Ka yi mana baya, kowa ya sani kuma wani shaida. A dalilin gatan da kai wa Gombe shi yasa Gombe ta samu kafa a yau. Gombe tana daga cikin jihohi wanda suka zama abin alfahari a arewacin Najeriya. Tunda ka tsaya kai tsoye daga aka kafa gwamnati na farko na PDP a jihar Gombe a lokacin. To tun daga lokacin aka samu dama duk abin da za ka gina yanzu a Gombe saboda effort ɗinka ne, ni shaida ne. Duk da ni aka yi komai da komai. Duk abin da aka yi from the beginning to the end. Ka sa dan Juma Goje ya zama gwamnan Gombe. Wannan shine babu wani tantama a ciki. Saboda haka kuma aka ɗora akan wannan tun daga kan Goje aka yi setting standard din da aka yi maintain ɗinsa a yau kowane ɗan Gombe yake alfahari da duk wacce gwamnati.
Mu gera Najeriya. Wannan shine burinmu. Muna so mu gera Najeriya. Ba abin da ni zan samu ne shine ya sa ni na zo ADC ba. Amma muna da tabbaci in ya zama shugaban kasa, Nigeria will never be the same.
This is our stand, this is our position. We are going to work the structure of ADC in conjunction with the ADC in Gombe State, and we hope by that Tuesday we are going to unveil our structure, not only our ADC, the news will carry all the PDP decision in Gombe State.
Ranka dade, ni ina son ce maka ga gode ma Allah. Muna ƙaunanka, Najeriya na ƙaunanka, matan Najeriya suna ƙaunanka. Ba za su iya zuwa su yi magana ba, amma kana da large support a wurin mata. A ƙara tafiya da mata, a ba mu ƙarfin gwiwa, kuma in Allah yarda mu will deliver.
Irin abin da muke so mu dawo da shi. Kuma batun matasa da mata, niyyarmu ne mu tabbatar da cewa kusan kashi 70 ya zamanto mata da matasa. Amma kuma kam duk wani wanda ya ce wallahi zai yi sata ko zai yi corruption za mu yi fada da shi. Wallahi za mu yi. Ya isa haka. Kowane ƙasa tana cin gaba kan banda mu don mutane kalilan. Shi yasa ko da muka zo wajen interim leadership din nan muka zauna muka tabbatar da wanda za mu ba mutane ne waɗanda suke da kima, waɗanda suke da gaskiya da sauransu. So daga shugabancin jam'iyya za a nuna cewa shugabancin gwamnati ga yadda za ta zamanto. So na gode kwarai da gaske da wannan saduwa da muka yi, kuma na fata kamar yadda Allah ya kawo ku lafiya, Allah zai mai da ku gida lafiya. Kuma wannan gidan gidanku ne. At any point in time.
Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State has dismissed rumors of his defection to the All Progressive Congress, APC, reaffirming his commitment to the People's Democratic Party. He urged the public to disregard the speculations and restated his focus on delivering good governance through his administration's 5-point agenda. The PDP in Osun also refuted the claims, describing them as falsehoods spread by opposition elements seeking to distract from the governor's achievement. Party chairman Honorable Sunday Bisi assured supporters that the PDP remains united and committed to the ongoing development of the state. Still on stories about defection, the African Democratic Congress in Zamfara State has expressed willingness to welcome Governor Dauda Lawal if he chooses to defect. The state chairman Alhaji Kabiru Garba made the statement during a media briefing in Gusau, highlighting the party's openness to all who shares its vision. As political momentum builds ahead of the 2027 election, Garba said the ADC is strengthening its structure across the state's 14 local government areas and positioning itself as a rising political force. Meanwhile, the African Democratic Congress website crashed on Friday after a surge of Nigerians attempted to join the newly unveiled opposition coalition party. The technical issues caused by exceeded bandwidth limits left users unable to access the site. Despite a required 500 membership fee, the crash occurred just 2 days after the coalition was launched in Abuja to challenge the ruling APC in the 2027 election. Key political figures backing the ADC include Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, David Mark, Rao Aregbesola, and others. The party has yet to issue an official response to the incidents. In a similar vein, report has it that several political groups and leaders across Nigeria are rejoining a new opposition coalition led by the African Democratic Congress to challenge the ruling APC in the 2027 election. Key defections have occurred in Rivers, Adamawa, Kogi, Borno, and Zamfara State, while supporters see the coalition as a boost for democracy. APC members and some parties like the SDP and NNPP remained skeptical of its impact. The International Human Rights Commission has backed the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, in its call for urgent reform of the contributory pension scheme for retired police officers, describing it as violations of the Nigerian Constitution. In a memo to President Bola Tinubu, the IHRC stated that the current scheme undermines the dignity and welfare of retired personnel, citing constitutional provisions that guarantee social protection for public officers. The group urged the president to act swiftly, noting the disparity between police and military retirees, with the latter exempted from the CPS and the IHRCS position, which follows a high-level meeting at the force headquarters, aimed at addressing growing discontent among police retirees over pension inadequacies. Following a court ruling, the Senate has set conditions for the reinstatement of suspended Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. The Federal High Court in Abuja had nullified her 6-month suspension, calling it excessive and unconstitutional, as it deprived her constituents of representation. Akpoti-Uduaghan she was suspended in March over alleged misconduct after crashing with Senate President Godswill Akpabio. The Senate said it will not recall her until she complies fully with the court's directives. Senate spokesperson Yemi Adaramodu stated that the next step depends on her action. Senate counsel Paul Dowden noted that the court did not compel for reinstatement, but only suggested that the suspension may have been excessive. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar praised the court ruling and commended Akpoti-Uduaghan for seeking legal redress. The Northeast Civil Society Network has submitted a memorandum to the Senate Committee on Constitutional Review, urging reforms to strengthen fiscal transparency and improve Nigeria's electoral process. The group proposed granting autonomy and enforcement powers to the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission to enhance accountability and combat revenue leakages. It also called for the abolition of state independent electoral commissions, recommending that the Independent National Electoral Commission takes over local government election to ensure credibility and national unity. The group urged the Senate to prioritize this reform in the ongoing constitutional review. Lagos State University has dismissed 2 lecturers for gross misconduct, including sexual harassment, financial fraud, and inhumane treatment of students. The decision was approved at the university's 143rd Governing Council meeting. Professor Olatunji Abanikanja, former dean of the Ape campus, was found guilty of maltreating students during farm practicals, sexually harassing female students, and extorting money. Dr. Khadija Karim Ibrahim, coordinator of animal sciences, was dismissed for diverting over 10.6 million in farm proceeds to her personal accounts and failing to follow academic procedures. The university reaffirmed its commitment to unfolding ethical standards. Governor Muhammadu Inuayaya of Gombe State, who also chaired the Northern State Governors Forum, on Friday led a delegation to Kano to condole with the family of late business mogul and philanthropist Alhaji Aminu Dantata, received by the deceased elder son, Alhaji Tajuddin Dantata. Yaya praised the late elder statesman as a symbol of integrity and service. He described Dantata's contribution to commerce, education, and humanitarian causes as enduring. Prayers were offered for the response of the deceased soul. The governor was accompanied by top government officials and dignitaries. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Professor Joy Zulo, has urged women to channel their efforts into profitable business ventures, emphasizing that empowering women is vital to Nigeria's economic growth. Speaking at a summit in Enugu, theme, Unlock Your Impact, Mastering the 80-20 Principle of Business Successes. Ezilo addressed an audience of entrepreneurs, academics, and students. She stressed the importance of focusing on commercially viable ideas. Summit conveners Joy Onyeso noted that Ezilo addressed energized participants ahead of section with other thought leaders. The Oyo State Emergency Management Agency has issued a flood alert for residents of Akinyele, Agbeda, and Oluyole local government areas in Ibadan, urging them to take precautionary measures against possible flash flooding. The agency's administration secretary, Mrs. Ojulape Busari, said the flood early warning system forecast indicates the heavy rainfall exceeding 100 mm. It is expected in same areas within the next 24 hours. She noted that the heaviest downpour is expected northeast of the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture and near the airports. Busari warned that flash floods could affect streets, especially in low-lying areas, making roads difficult or impossible to use. Residents were advised to avoid walking or driving through flood waters and to move to higher ground if necessary. Turn around, don't drown, she cautioned. The executive chairman of the Edo State Internal Revenue Service, Oladele Bankole Balogun, has announced new strategies to expand the state tax base to improve revenue generation and service delivery. Speaking at a press briefing in Benin City, he revealed that the state generated 52.6 billion naira in internally generated revenue between January and June 2025, marking a 46% increase from 36.1 billion naira recorded in the same period in 2024. The performance represents 89.5% of the target for the period. He attributed the growth to improved staff capacity, stakeholders' engagement, infrastructure upgrades, better staff welfare, and stricter enforcement of tax laws since assuming office in December 2024. Bankole Balogun also highlighted the agency's collaboration with the judiciary, which has led to the recovery of outstanding tax liabilities. On the recently signed Nigerian tax reform law, he said the agency will enhance public awareness to educate taxpayers on the new policy and its implication. Nigerian tech startup Zanga African is set to launch its new digital platform, Zanga.com, to boost the nation's US $3.77 billion untapped culture and tourism sector. The platform blends digital storytelling with virtual exploration tools to showcase Nigerians' rich heritage from ancient kingdoms to natural wonders and derive sustainable economic growth. Executive Director Adedayo Ogunleye highlighted that the initiative not only aimed to increase visibility and infrastructure for the tourism industry, but also to empower local communities by creating jobs and promoting national pride. Let's now step aside for a brief commercial break, after which there's still plenty more to come right here on Som TV. Stay tuned.
Are you stuck in Jalingo late at night? Need a safe and reliable ride fast? Introducing Supercab, Jalingo's trusted ride-hailing service from anywhere in the city. We will pick you up right at your doorstep. Book a ride in seconds, safe, fast and affordable. Visit www.supercab.com.ng or download the Supercab app today. Supercab, your ride, your way.
Welcome back. We're glad you're still here with us. Coming up next are the international business, sport, and entertainment news. On the international news, CNN's Christy Lu Shao secure explosive access aboard a container ship departing Hong Kong bound for Los Angeles. The future reveals how manufacturers are scrambling to export goods during a 90-day U.S. tariff reprieve on intense periods that reflects the deepening unpredictability of U.S.-China trade relations. Shipping operators, factors manager, and port officials detailed a logistical race against time to load, process, and dispatch shipments before punitive tariffs and reinforce the surge in freight tariff as overwhelmed port system and place immense pressure on transportation.
The race is on to try to meet looming deadlines on tariffs.
As the trade truce holds, a shipping rush is underway to get the goods out of China, and the clock is ticking.
We're on board a vessel owned by Japan's Ocean Network Express, part of the massive operation to move goods out of China into the U.S., a task made tougher by the constant whiplash on policy changes. The current 90-day pause on higher tariffs on China expires on August the 12th, after which they could go back up to 145%.
The indices for unpredictability and chaos are actually at an all-time high.
At the front line of this chaos,
all right, let's go to the top.
We get a closer look at what's on board.
There we go, we made it. Now behind these metal doors is what global trade is all about, the goods. And on this ship, what they have on board includes clothing, furniture, medical equipment, and car parts, all mostly made in China, that will be sold over in the United States.
This ship is loading up here in Hong Kong before making stops in China and South Korea, then heading through the Panama Canal and on to Houston, Texas.
We made a great deal with China. We're very happy with it.
The U.S. and China are hammering out details on a deal, but the shipping industry is not taking any chances, with Trump previously shrugging off the potential impact of tariffs on U.S. consumers.
Maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, you know? And maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more.
Is he right?
Probably, yes. There's probably not going to be 30 choices on the shelves.
Wow.
And those choices that are on the shelf would cost more. So it comes down to priorities.
The toy industry is being hit particularly hard by the trade war, as nearly 80% of all toys sold in the U.S. are made in China. The impact on some companies is so devastating, they're even suing the Trump administration.
Of course we had to fight. I can't accept a knockout punch.
Rick Woldenberg is the CEO of Learning Resources, a Chicago-based company selling educational children's toys, 60% of which are made in China.
We will run out of product and retailers will run out of product. That is absolutely certainly going to happen.
At one point, is the tariff slapped on the merchandise, and who has to pay for it?
Well, you're looking at who has to pay for it. It has to be passed on for our companies to remain financeable. They can call it tariffs or whatever they want, but it's a tax, and they've turned our company into a tax collector.
Those at the forefront of this supply chain chaos are clear that any financial pain will be passed on to the public.
Assuming that these tariffs remain in place, all of these charges actually get pushed down to the consumer.
In the whirlwind of tariffs, it's higher prices and rough seas ahead.
At least 24 people have died and over 20 girls remain missing after severe flash floods swept through south-central Texas in the United States of America, following heavy overnight rainfall that caused the Guadalupe River to rise rapidly. The disaster struck Camp Mystic, a riverside rural summer camp in Kerr County, where around 750 children were present. Rescue teams, including helicopters and military personnel, are continuing to search for survivors, which over 230 people already rescued. Officials described the situation as a mass casualty event with warning of further flooding in the region. A state disaster declaration has been issued and federal support is on the way.
This story, so crazy. Panic is growing in Texas as at least 20 young girls from a summer camp along the Guadalupe River remain missing after catastrophic flash floods swept through the area. Desperate parents are flooding social media with pictures of their daughters and posting urgent pleas for information.
And the rescue efforts are ongoing at this hour, but they're being hampered by downed power lines, the flooded roads, of course, and bad cell phone service to boot. John Fenolio, live in the news center. He's got more on the search efforts as that death toll, John, continues to rise.
Yeah, Rick, Court, we are seeing catastrophic flash flooding in the area of Kerrville, Texas, located in the central part of the state, just north of San Antonio. The National Weather Service says a month's worth of rain fell in just a few short hours as people slept early Friday morning. Texas officials say at least 24 people have died and dozens remain missing. Among the missing, young girls from a summer camp located along the Guadalupe River.
Tonight, a frantic search for missing and stranded people
after torrential rains triggered deadly flash floods in central Texas. Authorities in Kerr County, north of San Antonio, say at least 24 people were killed, dozens still missing.
We're not going to be giving any names out at this time. We're still notifying next of kin.
Among the hardest hit areas, Camp Mystic, a Christian summer camp for girls located on the banks of the Guadalupe River. Early Friday, Texas officials said at least 20 young girls from the camp were missing. By nightfall, Kerr County Sheriff Larry Letha said the number of missing could be as many as 25. This is footage of the camp from several years ago. It houses some 700 campers. Authorities say many here had no warning as the heaviest rain came just before dawn. According to the National Weather Service, slow-moving storms dumped 5 to 10 inches of rain across the region before sunrise, causing the river to rise more than 26 feet in just 90 minutes. Desperate parents posting pictures of their children online, hoping for any information. Others anxiously waiting at evacuation centers for news that their child had been found. More than 200 people rescued so far. Texas Governor Greg Abbott issuing a disaster declaration for at least 15 counties as search and rescue operations continue.
This is a time when we as a state, we as a community, need God more than ever. Little kids off at camp, joyfully excited about the upcoming day to celebrate the 4th of July. Campers alongside the river. So many people have been swept up into an extraordinary catastrophe. Whatever these communities need, the state of Texas is going to step up and provide it.
Just such a tragic story. Hundreds of rescuers continue to search for the missing tonight. The Texas National Guard has been activated and is on the ground. The U.S. Coast Guard and FEMA have also been deployed to the region. Texas.
In business news, the first half of 2025, the Nigerian exchange rose by 16.57% with the all-share index gaining over 17,000 points to close at 1,119,978.57 annually, capitalization increasing by 13.2 trillion to 75.96 trillion naira. The stock led the rally with Better Glass topping the chart with 414.6% gain, driven by strong Q1 earnings and 17.5 million euros investments. Honeywell Flour Mill followed with 241.3%, while the initial PLC rose by 230% due to surging profits. Vertafoam, Smart Products, Neymar, Fitson, Presco, Champion Breweries, and SCOA also featured among the top 10 gainers, each posting return between 161% and 222%, supported by strong financial results and investor confidence. On entertainment news, Grammy-winning singer Angelique Kidjo, originally from the West African nation of Benin, has become the first African artist selected to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Her name appeared on the 2026 honorees list announced by the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. Other recipients include Miley Cyrus, Timothy Chalamet, and Shaquille O'Neal, Neil Solanga, and Marion Cotillard, Deepika Padukone, and Emily. The exact date for the star ceremonies are yet to be announced, but honorees have up to 2 years to schedule their induction.
On to the next entertainment news, another amazing one, by the way. Angelique Kidjo becomes first African artist to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Beninese-French singer and actress Angelique Kidjo has made history as the first African musician to be honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The announcement was made on July 2, 2025, and the multi-Grammy winner was named alongside 35 people who will be awarded a star on the famous walkway on Hollywood Boulevard, Los Angeles. Angelique Kidjo will join the likes of Miley Cyrus, Bone Thugs and Harmony, the Clark Sisters, and Nile Lovett in receiving the famed honor. With a career spanning over 3 decades and more than 15 albums, Kidjo has become one of the most celebrated African musicians of all time. Her genre-defying sound blends African folk with jazz, funk, Latin, and global rhythms, earning her a Guinness World Record for the most global music album Grammy wins, with 5 wins from 15 nominations. Beyond her music, Angelique Kidjo is also renowned for her activism and Pan-African advocacy, consistently using a platform to call for unity, empowerment, and progress across the African continent and its diaspora. This recognition is not just for me, she previously stated in an interview. It's for every African artist who believes in the power of our culture and stories. We belong on the world's biggest stages, end quote. Other major names on this year's Walk of Fame honorees include Oscar-nominated actor Timothée Chalamet, who played Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown, Oscar winner Rami Malek, Bohemian Rhapsody, and Marion Cotillard, La Vie en Rose. Posthumous stars will also be awarded to iconic filmmaker Tony Scott and Italian special effect genius Carlo Rambaldi, best known for his works on E.T. and Alien. Angelique Kidjo's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame is not just a personal milestone, but a cultural triumph signaling the growing global appreciation for African excellence in the arts. The official induction ceremony date is expected to be announced in the coming month. Another round of applause, another round of applause, another round of applause. Shout out to our very own Mama Africa, and of course the first person that will be doing it out of Africa, doing it for what we do right here, which is amazing, by the way. Why did it take so long? Why did it take so long, by the way? But it's worth it. It's worth the wait. And of course, hopefully, this will also open doors to a whole lot of people that are churning out great content from this part of the continent, in either the music industry, the movie industry, the entertainment industry in general. So shout out to Mama Africa, Angelique Kidjo. Yeah, one of the people that also broke the jinx of the Grammy winning. So now we get to win the Grammys regularly, making it look like it's a small feat. But shout out to Angelique Kidjo. So hopefully this will also open doors. I've always talked about how can we...
On sport news, Nigerian footballers have consistently attracted major transfers globally, with several commanding record-breaking fees. Topping the list is Victor Osimhen, who moved from Lille to Napoli in 2020 for 77.5 million euros. Becoming Nigeria's most expensive player, he was instrumental in Napoli's historic Serie A title win in the 2022 and 2023 season. Alex Iwobi transferred from Arsenal to Everton in 2019 for 43 million euros, ranked second. And Kelechi Iheanacho follows closely, having moved from Manchester City to Leicester City in 2017 for 27.7 million euros. Calvin Bassey joined Ajax from Rangers in 2022 for 23 million euros. Odion Ighalo, 2017, switched to Chinese side Changchun Yantai, which cost 23.3 million euros, while John Obi Mikel moved to Chelsea from Lyn Oslo in 2006. It was worth 20 million euros. Ahmed Musa transferred from CSKA Moscow to Leicester City for 19.5 million euros. Wilfred Ndidi made his move from RC Genk to Leicester City in 2017 for 17.6 million euros. Yakubu Ayegbenji joined Everton from Middlesbrough in 2006 2007 for 16.5 million euros. And Obafemi Martin moves from Inter Milan to Newcastle United in 2006 for 16 million euros. These transfers reflect Nigeria's strong presence in international football and the growing value of its players on the global stage. And that brings us to the end of the news at 9 p.m. from today. The recap as we brought you today. President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Brazil for the BRICS summit, where he is expected to speak on Nigeria's economic reform and meet with global investors. We also reported that a Nigerian fighting alongside Russian forces was captured by Ukrainian troops, shedding light on the role of Africans in the ongoing war. Meanwhile, the federal government has expressed willingness to dialogue on the release of Nnamdi Kanu, but insists it won't be a tool for political negotiation. On the international scene, we brought you the escalating trade tension between the United States and China, with exporters rushing to beat a looming tariff deadline. Also, a devastating flash flood in Texas claimed 24 lives, with over 20 girls still missing from a summer camp. In business news, the Nigerian exchange gained 13.2 trillion naira in the first half of 2025 as the all-share index surged to 119,978.57, driven by investors' confidence and strong earnings. From the world of entertainment, we brought you the story of Angelo Kinjo, who became the first African artist elected to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And in sports, we highlighted Victor Osimhen's historic move, topping the list of Nigeria's most expensive football transfers and reinforcing the country's rising profile in international football. Stay with us for more exciting lineup of programs and updates. I'm Bridget James. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.
Are you stuck in Jalingo late at night? Need a safe and reliable ride fast? Introducing SuperCab, Jalingo's trusted ride-hailing service from anywhere in the city. We will pick you up right at your doorstep. Book a ride in seconds. Safe, fast and affordable. Visit www.supercab.com.ng or download the SuperCab app today. SuperCab, your ride, your way.